In the big city of Dallas, Texas, a new LGBT web reality series produced by The Chef Don Don Productions, School of Love. Honey, we are now casting. Make sure you get your application in just in time for school to be in session.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Schoolboy here with another live video with you all today. I'm talking about love and marriage Huntsville, and we getting into the things that is all of love and marriage Huntsville. Before we get started, of course, y'all saw the video trailer playing about the new web dating reality series that is produced by my brother Chef Don Don, and we want y'all to know that applications and casting is wrapping up this Thursday, which is the 5th, not the 6th, not the 7th, but the 5th, okay? So y'all make sure that y'all get y'all applications in, get them going, get all the applications submitted though. Y'all make sure y'all get it over there and submitted it into Chef, the production team, and everything like that, so that they can go through those applications and start the processing of picking the ladies and everything for the show. So y'all make sure y'all get it in over there by the 5th, okay? Now I'm gonna reiterate it again, because I know sometimes people like to submit things late. Y'all make sure y'all get the applications in there. They have to be in by the 5th, okay? He's running the production. He doing the deadlines. Be respectful of his time and the crew's time, showrunner, other producers, cameramen. So make sure y'all get your applications in. I can't stress that enough, okay? Make sure the applications are in on time. Also, I do have something else exciting that's happening this week. I was minding my business on the Twitter, as I always am, and a journalist asked to do a interview with me, a candid interview, and they do want to highlight me in some up and coming web magazines. So it has potential to be in Pretty Women Who Hustle magazine or in Black Business. So once that article drops, I do have to do everything with that article and give my speech and do my interview this week. So I'll be doing that. I believe Tuesday was when we went ahead and scheduled to do that. So when it does drop, I will let you know, drop the links on my social media for y'all to go ahead and follow and go ahead and read it. Okay? So y'all can get into that and y'all go ahead and read it. So that's some good news. And shout out to my bro, Chef Don Don. He over doing his thing. He got his certificates this week. I want to give him a special congratulations on him with him receiving his certificates that he went out for production. So he's doing amazing things over there on his channel. He recently hit 8K. He's on his way to 9. So y'all go over there and make sure y'all support him as well, and all the things that he has going on. So I just wanted to get that out there and put it out there. So if you'd like to donate to the channel, the Cash App and Venmo is rolling across the screen. I also do want to let you know everything on this channel is stated as allegedly. It is in my opinion. If you have a problem with it, I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. I do know some people's up in church right now or watching football. That's why I decided to go on to get up on here real quick so I can go on with my Sunday fun day of chilling and enjoying the games. So let's get to it. So it's Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 6, Episode 18, Melody versus Marsau, Round 5. Before I go ahead and get started, I want to say hi to everybody. Hey, Lady Norshia. Hey, Chef Don Don. Hey, Not the One or the Two. We all tired of Marsha. We all tired of Marsha, so that's an even thing. Thank you for the congratulations on the interview. And yeah, Chef Don Don is in the house. Appreciate it. So let's get on into it. This was a filler episode for me. It was messy. Hey Mia, it was a messy interview. I mean, it was a messy episode in certain parts. I will say that Miss Nell did clock in to work, and she clocked right on this episode. So we opened at Tiffany's baby reveal because that is where we ended off last week. And Tisha walks in late. The pastor is preaching. They dedicating the baby, and she walks in late. It was kind of rude because I don't think I would have opened the door and came in until the pastor was done. That's just me. Um, that's how we was taught growing up in church. Like, you didn't move when the pastor was speaking, but she came on in. Tisha gives fake phony hugs to everybody all around because it was that, you know how it be that real nice, like, church hug, that pat, you know what I'm saying? That's what it gave me, that fake church hug. So she goes around and she says Stormy was acting funny, and being phony because on the phone, her and Stormy Kiki and it's all good, but then Stormy was acting all like she didn't want to be. Then she said, hey, we was all good on the phone, we was laughing and joking, but now you in the setting with the other women, and here's all of this. So I'm just like, well, that's been said a lot about Stormy, so it's kind of like I can take it or leave it at this point because Stormy's gonna be Stormy and she gonna stand in whatever she stands in. There's times when I agree with some of the things that Stormy does, but then there's other times where I feel like you can just grow up and be an adult and just, you know what I'm saying? It ain't gotta be phony, but it can at least be decent where you can speak. Kimmy and Tisha are getting food, and she asked if she missed anything. Kimmy rolls her eyes, and was like, no. Now, Kimmy, I'm quite sure you and Maurice have been late to events, okay? All of this eye rolling and all of that. Well, you didn't miss nothing because ain't nothing happened. Like, come on, it's a little too much. Kimmy getting a little bit messy this year, and it's not messy in a good way, and it's not messy that I care for. But there are some people that's still riding for Kimmy, and I don't know because I'm really giving the Kimmy the side eye this season for sure. And I really don't understand what Kimmy is trying to get this season. I guess that's where I'm at. I'm really side eyeing her in general. Like Kimmy really being nice nasty this year, and I can't. And a lot of people have said they've never really liked Kimmy from the jump. They've never really liked Kimmy for the jump, and I kind of see where people are kind of going with that, and why people have felt that way over the years watching this show. Lisa Joya says, don't understand Kimmy anymore. Nobody does. I don't even think she understands anymore. I don't know if it is the things that she went through has really changed her vernacular and how she's handling herself, but it's just really ain't sitting right with my spirit. So everyone's at the table and no one is saying anything. Everybody eating. This is a Candy Burris moment that we would see on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Everybody shutting up, everybody eating, and nobody's really saying anything. Everybody's quiet. So Tisha just breaks the ice and kind of like, well, why is everybody quiet? And Nell says, well, they have been talking and things, and Kimmy said they were talking about the Expo. Now I'm gonna tell y'all before we get into this Expo, I'm actually tired of them talking about this Expo. When I mean tired of them talking about this Expo, I'm tired, y'all. We have talked and 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 talked about this damn Expo to the point that I feel like I'm blue in the face and I have changed a whole new color. I am tired of hearing about this ghetto Expo that happened, and it is just I'm tired. Like, this shows you that nobody on this show has a storyline, and they just ran this in. I don't know what's going on, why we're beating this dead horse to death. But here we are again talking about this Expo. Casey Johnson said, I clocked Kimmy a long time ago. She is a mess. See, a lot of people say they clocked Kimmy a long time ago. And I don't know if it was like, I never clocked Kimmy, because I did. I like Kimmy's personality, but then it was just like, now I'm kind of like, damn, Kimmy, what the hell going on with you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, girl, how you doing? Hey, Casey Johnson, y'all just came in. Anybody that's coming in, hey, how you doing? If I haven't spoke to everybody, happy Sunday, everybody. Make sure y'all got y'all mimosas. You hit the like, comment, subscribe, share, push it through the algorithm, all that good stuff for me, okay? And if y'all would like to donate to the channel, y'all can. We also are crowdfunding for the web series as well, so y'all can donate to that. And y'all can also sign up and submit your applications as well. And Chef Don Don is doing an additional show, which is like an after show that talks about hot topics as well. So if y'all want to apply for that, y'all can do that as well on the website. So, and this chef, I know Chef is working. So if he's in here, can you drop that or my mod drop that? Thank you. So let me get back to what I was talking about. And she says maybe y'all can get everyone together. So Kimmy says, well, maybe y'all can get everybody together and get some constructive criticism and some feedback. You know, just get some feedback going about the expo. Tisha says she don't need no feedback. And you know what? I'm to this point where it has gone from y'all giving criticism and critiques. Now it's just going to a whole new level with this expo thing. And I do agree with Tisha to a degree, but also too, they keep harping on it, man, because you won't take the constructive criticism. It was poorly put together and executed. And a lot of people do expos. A lot of people do a lot of things pertaining to expos. And when you do expos, you have to make sure from beginning to the end that it is completely organized and that everything makes sense and that everything's on one page. Usually people organize expos very well, and you could tell this was not put together well. It was put together poorly. In my eyes, now this is my opinion, I feel as though Marsau and Tisha did not properly budget for this, number one. Number two, once you saw there were so many people clamoring to be a part of this expo because y'all are on network and y'all are doing all of this stuff, y'all wanted to capitalize on it but failed to capitalize on it properly. Okay, so once you realize how much money y'all was going to be like not making and it was going to be negative, and then this is after y'all said y'all wanted it to be free, y'all started to realize, okay, let's charge everybody to kind of recoup the money that we put out, but I don't think y'all really recouped any of the money that y'all put out. Personally, I think it became more of a money suck for y'all, and y'all just wanted to get any and everything y'all could back as far as financially for this expo. But I do believe that it was poorly placed together. That's just my opinion. She says she got too much feedback and she doesn't need any more, and brings up the Fletchers. So Kimmy says, why to Nell, kind of like why was Nell feeling the way that she was feeling when it came to Tisha and Marsau not inviting them? So Nell was like, she's been in business for 30 years and they should have been invited to speak. Literally, the daycare is right around the corner from where their business is. I don't understand why we were not invited. To me, in my honor, and that's why I roll my eyes, because in all honesty, Nell, at this point, who cares? I get it that you wanted them folks to invite you, but they didn't want to invite you, and they're not really going to deal and fool la la with y'all like that because of your relationship with Melody. And I feel that way, and Tisha may not say it full circle, Marsau may not say it full circle, but that's really what it is. Okay, let's just stop. And who cares? They didn't invite you. Oh well. You know what I'm saying? If y'all feel that serious about having an ex, why don't y'all have an expo? Y'all been in business 30 years. Y'all do your own thing. Plenty of people can put events up in Huntsville, and it shouldn't be an issue. It's really, to me, it's not that deep. Let it go. But I get it now. You got to clock in to get that check because you want to be a part of this show with Chris, and y'all want to be in the opening credits, and I get it. Tisha says she put it on social media and she didn't need to send out personal invitations. Well, Tisha, again, this goes to where the sloppy business aspect for me doesn't work. I don't particularly care for people that handle business like that. Because if you really wanted them folks to speak, you would have personally invited them. Period. Point blank. The end. You did not want them folks to speak. Period. I would rather you just stand and saying that. Look, we ain't want you to speak. You and Marsau running around here. It's just it's crazy. And I really honestly believe like it's BS because if you wanted Mel there and Mel is friends with the Fletchers, why wouldn't you have the Fletchers there? I just felt like it was a miss on all angles. Y'all could have had every single person that's on this show on there because everybody holds a business. Everybody holds a business. So everybody could have given advice to the other people and gave sound advice, business advice, if they really wanted to. To me, there is no way for you to turn around that. And it's stupid in retrospect because y'all going all around the world and and you're just not being honest. Just say y'all just didn't want to invite the people. But honestly, everybody could have spoke and it wouldn't have been no big deal. You wasn't paying nobody anyway. Y'all said that this was for the community and that was the reason why y'all was doing it. It's just a lot. It's like 20 on 10 for me. Why Martel did not invite them? He invited his brother. Well, Martel probably felt like it wasn't his expo to invite someone to speak. They're harping on the point of being able to speak. When it's not your event, you really don't have control over how somebody does that and you don't dictate that. So I understand. Martel invited his brother to come out and see him on this panel or come to the event. I mean, that's different when you're inviting someone to come to a free event in which social media was invited to come. All people, it was a public event. So I think it's more or less of the matter of that they just weren't invited to speak. I don't know. Harold says Tisha and Nell not even close like that, right? I wouldn't make that big of a deal about not being invited, even if I was told I would be, but I would just make a mental note of it. It is what it is. That's how I felt. That's how I felt. Chanel Robertson says, that's kind of cat because they wanted Mel there. Marsau and Tisha just play phony. Right. It's just say you didn't want the people there. I mean, here's the deal. With anybody on reality TV, I tell you all the time, I respect people that stand 10 toes down in it because at least if you stay 10 toes down in it, then, hey, I know that's what you feel and that's what it was. It was no reason to lie. Hey, St. Marquise. Hey, Chanel. Hey, anybody that just came in. Facts. There's no way around it. It really ain't. It ain't. Harold said Tisha was the fleet captain and definitely captain, but she didn't have Marsau there to tell her what to say. That's why Nell was ruffling her feathers the way she was, and it was. She needed Marsau and his wide hips and his double D's tell her what to say in that moment because it just was not. She couldn't articulate the words to come up with that. Or, I mean, really, it wasn't much to articulate. Just say we didn't want you there. That's why. Case closed. That's it. So, and Tisha says, of course, Nell is arguing with the fact that, hey, y'all called and said, hey, y'all wanted us there, and she didn't. Y'all said that y'all wanted there, y'all didn't send a personal invite. Tisha shuts her down and says she's over it and it's dead. So I was just like, well, girl, bye. Because you be having all this energy sometimes, and then you be sometimes with it, and then sometimes you be all rah, and then sometimes you want to play the victim. So Tisha, I need you to keep the same energy because it's so up and down depending on whatever mood you are in and whatever battery Marsau has put in your back before you come to the scene with the ladies, because that really depends on what energy that we're going to get from you. So Mel and Stormy are looking like child, because they going back and forth. You got Nell over here. Going back and forth with Tisha. Tisha going back, and it's just like, girl, what? Everybody just sit down, because it really wasn't even that serious. Tiffany is, so they pan over to Tiffany. She nursing the baby. She says, I don't know why that we're discussing this at a baby reveal, and it's like, Tiffany, You of all people, you like to come to people events and discuss things that ain't got nothing to do with the event. So, ma'am, let's not and say we did, okay? Because we not gonna go there. Kimmy told Tisha, she was like, you need feedback, and Tisha saying it's not coming from a good place. So Tisha feels like the ladies are attacking her. She's getting attacked. So it's not constructive criticism, it's y'all attacking her. I can say 50-50 of it is, but I think a lot of it is constructive criticism. You just don't want to hear it, Tisha, because Marsau has gaslit you up to the point to think that y'all did everything properly when y'all did it. Y'all dropped the ball on a lot of things and it looked bad. Okay? It looked bad. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care how y'all move it. It looked terrible. Now, as business people, it looked terrible. And I said before, I wouldn't go to them for directions to the grocery store, given what they gave to us about that expo. So Tisha says to Nell, I thought we were good and now we are, it's over, basically to let it go. And, she got an attitude and they going back and forth. So she just wants her to go ahead and let it go. And Nell, I wanted you to let it go because at this point it was like a dog with a bone and you really wasn't getting nowhere with it. It was what it was. So Tiffany comes up after she's done feeding the baby, and he's done eating. And now everyone can meet Ace, and she throws shade about Tisha not RSVPing to the event. Tisha's in the confession like, I know she's trying to throw a shade, but I forgot. Tisha, you ain't forget to RSVP to that girl event. Stop. Again, lying again. You and Marsau, every episode, y'all make me realize why y'all are married more and more. Because I by far don't think Tisha is no victim over there. I do think she's a volunteer for the situation, and she likes it. She's in the middle of being manipulated and gaslit by Wanda and her husband. So until she breaks free of the chains from both of them, this is going to continue, and that's just how I see it. So Tiffany asks where Kiki is, and Tisha shades her by saying she's always a no call, no show. Now, see, that's why I be like, Tisha, you don't want resolve with some of these women. You just want to continue having the same conflict. And I'm just like, so you can sit back and make it seem like everybody's attacking you and that you are some sort of victim, in which you are not. We're going to stop that. We're going to stop that. Because Tisha is no victim. Okay? You're not. Not in my eyes. Now, the other people you might play that role with, but you're not a victim in my eyes. So, Melody says, so Mel says she's surprised that Kiki didn't show up. She knew that she had been sick lately, so she was concerned. And Melody says this is in her confessional that she is deeply concerned. Melody says they were talking about so then Tiffany asked, kind of like, what was they over there talking about? Melody says they were talking about the expo and what could have or should have happened, who did what, when, where, why, and how, and all of that. Tiffany says you have a lot of people willing to give feedback and ideas, and she thinks there should be another one. I feel as though, Tiffany, if it's going to be another expo, it needs to be done properly. I think they need to get the right people in there, and they need to show what's actually going on. I do think that you can have successful events if you get the right organization and not be money hungry about it low key, but then also not want to pay people low key. So there's a lot of different factors that could happen, but they have to be open to the constructive criticism and they have to be willing to essentially do the work in my eyes. Because I just think this is a place blame thing on both sides. Gail, for instance, I hope they're not going to drag this Expo thing all out all season because that's all I keep hearing about. I unfortunately think that it is going to be that. I think that sometimes when there is no storylines, that's what they do. We've seen this on multiple reality TV shows always where it is, one centralized storyline for everybody, and everybody's trying to feed off of that because the person really doesn't have that much going on. So then it becomes a whole issue and a whole bunch of mess. And just like Chef Don Don said, make sure y'all go ahead and drop your applications in for School of Love. The last day to apply is the 5th of October, so y'all make sure you get your applications in so that production and the team can go ahead and start circulating through that. Make sure that anybody has come in that's just come into the chat as I'm talking. If y'all can like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If y'all can push this through the algorithm and like it as much as y'all can. I want to get this pushed out into the algorithm. And if you would like to donate to the channel, the Cash App and the Venmo is rolling across the screen. Lisa Joy says, yes, thank you. I'm not convinced Tisha is so clueless as she seems. Hell no, Tisha ain't that damn clueless. Tisha playing dumb for the cameras. And I solely believe that. If you playing dumb, so you could be the victim, and so it looks like these women are just jumping. You. Other than that, like, what are they jumping you for? Because they're not really jumping you, ma'am. They criticizing how y'all handled y'all expo in your business, which was bad. The expo was terrible. It was handled bad. Now, you can say what you want to say, Tisha, and you don't want to take the criticism, you or Marsau, because y'all egos and heads is so big they don't fit in the room, okay? But the expo was poorly executed. And you do need constructive criticism so that y'all can do better the next time. But it seems as though you don't want the constructive criticism from this group because you have issues with multiple people in this group. So that's really what all this is about. Let's stop playing like that. Gail Fran says, Kiki talks about Tisha a lot on this show, but Tisha can't say nothing about Kiki. I don't really give a damn who talk about who the most. I'm just going to be honest with you. That's what everybody's going to throw that same marker back and forth. We see that on so many housewives shows. We see that on all of stuff, that people are going to throw shade and marker at each other. But my thing is, they're a family, and it's much deeper than just a TV show. And this is why sometimes some people don't want to do reality TV with their family, because it does start to crack and divide the family. And this is deeper than just this show. You know, they have both highlighted and said that there's always been a competition between Wanda and her brother and back and forth. So this is deeper than just this show. And now y'all have allowed this show to come in and make and stir more ish and keep the divide deeper and deeper. And it's getting worse. You know, it's sad and it's pathetic, because y'all are family, and at the end of the day, when them cameras shut off, and if this production of Love and Marriage Huntsville ends, y'all still got to see each other at family events. That's just my opinion. Let's talk life. Hey, yes, you did catch a live. Tim M says Tisha seems to crave victimhood in her marriage with the Expo. I think it's not just that, but just Tisha has been gaslit and manipulated so much between Wanda and Marsau. She lives in her own set of reality, which is not the real reality of the real world. And I think she's so not emotionally intelligent enough to really work on it and fix that. Because if she were to break her mind free of Wanda and Marsau, she would see there is much more to all of this, and she would really understand the part and the role that she plays by staying too long and allowing people to play with her like that mentally. That's just my opinion. Now, some people won't break it down like that or see it like that, and that's okay too. Say Marquis says they need to focus on that construction of that shady business that they have. Yeah, I've heard some things that it's some stuff that's not right over there. I believe that alone. That's why they got that $5.6 million lawsuit allegedly is over some not so up and up business dealings. That's what I heard. So Tiffany throws shade again about keeping the front seat warm. at the next one. And Kimmy said, I thought you would have changed after the baby. Now, Kimmy, a tiger don't change his stripes overnight, and we know this baby was not going to make old girl change at all. Tiffany is who she is. She gonna be messy, but Tiffany, I think they gonna end up phasing y'all out if y'all don't come up with something real quick. And I believe the Fletchers are gonna end up being on here full time because Nell is messy and so is Chris. They as a dynamic duo are messy, and that's gonna be hard for you to keep up with. So Mel says, well, did y'all talk about it to Tisha? And Tiffany and Kimmy says they went out to eat, and Tiffany says she couldn't get her issue out with Tisha when Stormy just went off about the $100. Now this was where I felt like, Tiffany, you threw Stormy under the bus. You were hemming and hawing while you was at that table with them, and you really could have got your issue out. And to me, I thought you did get your issue out. You said that you felt some type of way because you weren't invited. Tisha said she didn't know what you did. And we moved on. I don't really understand what is it that you didn't get out. You had ample opportunity to say what you needed to say. Tiffany, this is where if you don't go on for me with this, because I really don't understand. So Gail Fran says, I agree. I saw what you're saying when they played the flashback of Letitia and Mel networking. I mean, Tisha can only, I'm going to say this. Y'all cannot keep throwing shade, and this includes Mel too. You cannot keep throwing shade talking about, well, I want you to leave. I can't wait for your wife to leave you, and da-da-da. When she finally, you don't want her to be around women that are independent and got this, that, and the third. It's not about that. Stop commenting and bringing it up, because at the end of the day, she is only going to change her situation unless Tisha wants to change the vernacular of her own situation. So you throwing it up as digs at Marsau, I'm tired, Melody. I really am. It's nauseating, it's excruciating, and I'm sick of hearing your voice say it. Because the more you trying to project that or prophesy that over that woman's life, it's not going to happen. Because I'm going to tell you one thing that I have always learned. The more that you tell a friend about their man and how sorry and no good he is, the more that they are going to stay with that person. So you constantly throwing it in his face and her face and saying, I can't wait till she leave you. It's not helping the situation. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone, Mel. Just leave it alone. Has not changed. Stop. Stop. I just want to tell Melody to stop, because it's not really doing anything. Harold said the Fletchers are greater than the Whitlows. No shade to Big Lou. It is what it is, Harold. It is what it is. So Nell is being messy and asks Tisha, what about the $100? Then Nell says, Tisha, I know why you're ignoring me. And Stormy, why are you doing it? And Stormy kind of looks like, Stormy had that like deer cotton headlights look, like kind of like, we've discussed it and talked about it. I'm good. Why are we kind of discussing it again? But it's not like Stormy's not afraid to discuss it. Stormy was holding back discussing it because she was considerate of how Tisha felt in that moment, and she knew Tisha was tired of talking about the Expo. So I think that she was more so kept looking at Tisha like, oh, girl, you sure you want to? Do we really gotta? Child, we gotta talk about it again. Do you really want to talk about it again? And I think that's why she kept looking over there trying to figure out what they gonna talk about it. So this is again, Dale, still being messy. So if she keeps going, what happened about the $100? And Stormy looks at Tisha and is like, well, kind of like, you want me to speak on it? Don't speak on it. So she's like, nah, we solved it. And Nell was like, you don't have to, you don't have a mind or a mouth of your own, Stormy. You can't speak for yourself. Why you got to keep looking at her? And that is where I'm just like, well, now you're doing too much, your team too much right now. But I get it, boo boo. You clocked in and you trying to get your check, and I ain't mad at it. But it was just like, girl, it's really not that serious. I mean, we've talked about this $100. I think just as much as we have talked about this expo the last 3, 4 episodes. I'm tired of talking about this $100. At this point, I want $100 just for sitting here listening to the fact that y'all keep talking about this $100. Legit, I want $100 because I'm tired of hearing y'all talking about $100, and I'm just like, okay, well, why are we still talking about this $100? And I mean, is it really making or breaking the situation? Like, I'm sick of talking about this money. Damn. Can we move? Now I want to get paid $100 for sitting here watching this episode about y'all talking about $100 again. Because it's really ridiculous at this point. And now your ass done heard this damn story, so I don't even know why we gotta keep discussing this. But I get it. It's a group setting, it's all the ladies. So y'all gotta sit here and talk about it again. I'm tired of talking about it. Tiffany then starts talking like, so Tiffany starts telling the story because neither Stormy nor Tisha will even tell the story. So now Tiffany being messy, go ahead, jump into the mess and say, well, you know what, since you heifers ain't gonna say nothing, I'm gonna go ahead and say something. Okay. Tiffany then starts talking like, I don't know everything. Tiffany, you know, again, you get on my nerves with that too. Because it's like, if you're going to jump in the mess and be in the mess, stand in the shit that you jumping into, because you agitate me with this, well, you know, just say what it is, man. So Tiffany then starts talking like, I don't know everything, but some of the vendors didn't paid, and some people didn't, and begins to say Stormy paid for this expensive balloon art that costed a lot more than $100, and she was never told that she had to pay until the day of the event. Now, we all know them balloon arches is expensive. Okay, we all know them balloon arches is expensive. Okay, they are very much so expensive. They're intricate. They're expensive. My whole thing about this Expo thing with this $100 booth thing, and this is my theory. Now, y'all can agree with me or don't agree with me. Let me know in the comments. My theory is that, number one, Tisha and Marsau was being cheap and got the smallest venue they could possibly find. Okay. And with that being said, with getting a small venue, they didn't anticipate the sign up for this. So first of all, you got a venue that's too small. Number two, you didn't probably walk through the venue to make sure that it was going to fit as many booths as you wanted to have there. Number three, you didn't communicate with these people that had signed up for these booths and give them diameters of how much space and area that they were going to have. And you didn't match up how many vendors you had to this space that you had. And instead of y'all being grown enough and realizing, okay, we've overextended ourselves, we need to get a bigger venue, y'all was being cheap. Let me say this again, y'all was being cheap. And what you did was you decided to cram all these people in a small venue, and then once you realized y'all's costs were going up expeditiously, y'all went ahead and decided to start charging some people and not charging others. And so this is where your budget didn't fit your cost, and then now y'all are sitting here trying to scramble because you didn't have enough money to begin with, and the budget that you set was too small, and the venue that you chose was too small. Because had you did all of this from the beginning, and when you initially put the sign up out there to the because you put this to the general public. Now, mind you, y'all put this to the general public by using y'all social media. Y'all put this to the general public. So once people saw that and was like, oh yeah, let me jump on it because they know y'all are associated with OWN Network. This is a big thing. They can go ahead and jump in and do this. Y'all did not get a bigger venue. And then you didn't walk through this original size venue that you had to make sure everybody would have a booth of the appropriate circumference for it to be free. Then when y'all saw Stormy with this whole elaborate balloon arch and she done did this and she got this and that, and now you start freaking out about the money, Marsau, because now all you seeing is that, well, this big area that she took up, I could have got 2, 3 more vendors in here, but she took up all the area because this was y'all didn't plan this right, and I'm gonna keep reiterating that you guys did not plan this properly at all. And then when you started charging people, it was to make up for all the money that y'all had put out and or lost while trying to do this. Because when you fund these type of things and you're going to put 100% of the funds in, you need an adequate budget for the amount of people that you are asking to be at this event. Y'all didn't count the cost. Y'all didn't have a set amount of vendors that y'all decided to do in the first place, and y'all didn't walk this venue properly. That's my opinion. Y'all was sloppy from the jump. Then you wanted people to pay for your sloppiness after you and now you want somebody to come in and pay for that. That's wrong. That's wrong, Marsau. All day. You and your wide hips is wrong for that. You're very much so wrong for that. And you can't get mad at these people because they feel some type of way. Because none of this was all even elaborately put out into a packet. So when these people signed up with this, they should have got a packet stating what was required, the size area they were going to have, and what they needed to do. This was poorly put together. And that's my opinion on it. So after that, Tiffany's like, well, she had to pay the $100 and she was never told of that. And it was never discussed that she was going to have to pay. Again, poor business planning by Tisha and Marsau. But they don't want to take accountability for that. And that's the disgusting part about this whole thing. Tisha gets up and walks away from the table because she's over it and doesn't want to hear about it. And the haters are mad that they didn't do it. Baby, ain't nobody hating on this. They really are legitimately trying to give you constructive criticism about how this could have been done better. You just don't want to listen to it because you have grievances with some of these ladies and you feel as though that you can't get past your grievances and your feelings towards them to take the constructive criticism. And that's just what it is. Hey, Simply Elegant One. It doesn't make sense to me. So she walks away. Stormy goes to go check on her, whatever. Nell says, well, at the dinner table, Nell keeps speaking after Tisha gets up and Stormy goes to go chase after her to check on her. Nell says, well, at the dinner with us, they said no one had to pay anything. Now I'm tired. Now I know I'm tired, y'all. Y'all can tell me in the comment section if I'm wrong. Now, we've heard several times that everybody had to pay. It went from he wasn't paying them to speak, but they did have to pay for the booth, till it went to nobody had to pay. And then it came down to Kimmy and Maurice figuring out that they did pay. Kimmy didn't know Maurice had paid either. And it's just all of this with this pay. And there's too much going back and forth on this that I'm not really understanding. That either people had to pay or they didn't have to pay. I'm tired. Casey Johnson said, now, isn't all the Scott Fugazi businesses in Tisha's name? I think so. But we're going to get to that because Mel calls that out towards the end of the episode. So Stormy gets up to go check on Tisha. And she says she understands she doesn't want to keep talking about this expo. She brings her back. So Stormy brings her back to the table. And Stormy says she can't keep running off anytime someone gives them criticism, which I do agree with Stormy on that. If you're going to be a business owner, people are going to want to help you and give you constructive criticism. And I get it. You can take it or leave it. It's one of those things. You can either put the elevator music on in your head and just be like, and y'all just go ahead and not say anything about it and just act like it don't exist. It's 41 people in here. Y'all make sure y'all get them lights up. You can act like it doesn't exist, or you can actually listen to the constructive criticism. You know, I know sometimes, Tisha, you can shut off your brain, and I know you shut off your brain when Marsau was talking to you a lot of the time. So just shut off your brain if you don't want to listen to it. You can sit there and shut it off. I know I shut off my brain sometimes when people talking stupid. I just shut it off. And I act like I'm engaging, but I'm really not. I just shut off my brain. You can shut off your brain. You can do that. You can go to a whole new destination on them. Okay? So that that they should be able to speak, but you know, everyone is saying like they should be able to speak on things without it being an issue. And it's true. Stormy says, you know, we should be able to say something or give criticism where, and it shouldn't be no problem. So Nell says, well, you told us no one paid, and Tisha's doing all this neck twirling like, okay. See, that right there is because you have an attitude. I would have rather you picked up your purse, okay, that cost more than that Fashion Nova outfit that you had on, and you could have got up, Tisha, and you could have just left. Because all of that body language and okay, all of that was unnecessary. It was unnecessary. It didn't have to be all of that. It didn't have to be all of that. Simply as when I shut off my brain to stupid stuff all the time. I shut it, I be gone. While you think I'm paying attention, I'm thinking about what I'm gonna eat later. If I'm gonna go down to the gym, if I'm gonna go around to the Target and pick up some stuff, I can shut my brain off. Hey, itty bitty 23. It's just, you know, I'm sick of Tisha. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to be doing all that neck twirling and stuff, sweetie, you should be able to take it as good as you receive it. That's all I'm saying. Mel is like, Kimmy and Maury say they paid, and she keeps doing the neck movements, and I'm just like, so then they flash back to Marsau saying they paid for everything out of their pocket, and he felt like they were not going to pay them too. That he wasn't paying them to speak. Okay, we know that. And this is where I say they poorly planned that event to the point and degree that they wanted to recuperate some money of what they spent out of that original budget, which they overspent from the original budget, calling themselves being the sponsors. You said Black was going to be the sponsor. Now, that if Black is going to be the sponsor, then that means the money would have come out of your pocket. That should not go on to the vendors. If you say this is for the community. That's just my opinion. That now y'all don't have to agree, but that's just my opinion. St. Marquis says it's always unnecessary when Tisha behaves like that with the women, but when it comes to her husband, she acts innocent and a child because he got mind control over her. You know, like like Smokey told Craig when they were sitting on the porch and Debo had came up and he was like, I got mind control over him. When he leaves, I'll be talking again. That's really what it is. She has no control when it comes to him because she's going to submit to him regardless because Marsau is a caveman and he run the show. She don't have a voice at home. So she gets her voice when she's around these women, but when she's at home, she's docile, meek and mild, because he running that show. So Nell said, y'all made it seem like y'all didn't make any money off of this. And when Tisha reiterates, we spent more money out than we made no money. And Stormy says, well, it always looks like y'all are being secretive on what's really being made because y'all can't read between the lines. They secretive because they ain't got no money. They didn't make no money off of it, y'all. They didn't make any money. If anything, I think that event put them in the hole, in the red, real bad. Because again, as I said earlier, they didn't plan this out. They didn't make sure they had the venue set up right. They didn't make sure they drafted out how big the spaces were going to be for each vendor. Because even with the vendor thing, and I'll say this, y'all could have tiered it out. Well, in order to have a free booth, you could have had a small, here's this size for a free booth. Well, if you paid $100, this is the circumference and size that you get for paying or donating. You could have said it was donations and not. Yeah, you could have said it was donations. It's just the way the whole venue was handled was bad. If you ask me, it was handled bad. Hey Key1, how you doing? Tisha isn't happy, but she's gonna stick beside him. Show is. And I ain't even gonna hold y'all. I really believe that she gonna stay until she can't stay no more. That's just my personal opinion. I think if Marsau wasn't so money hungry, I think it would have went in his favor. Yeah. So Tisha basically says it's no one's business who paid for their booth at the event. Well, ma'am, cat's out the bag. It is what it is. Hey, Miss Cookie 417, it is what it is, ma'am. Everybody know who paid and who didn't pay. Okay. And I'm quite sure for the people that are not filming for this show, the people that brought their business there that are now watching this back in Huntsville, they're probably upset that they paid too. I'm just gonna be honest. They're probably upset that they paid too. Because now that they're probably figuring out, like, some of y'all paid, some didn't, like, what's up? You can't tell me that the vendors that did sign up for that and were not featured on the show that were there don't feel some type of way, because I know I would. Given what I'm seeing on national TV displaying out that y'all have said has went on, I know I would feel some type of way. But hey. So she's grabbing her things to leave, and on the way out, she's saying they don't have to open their books for anyone, and explains how much they spent for or paid for anything, and she's tired of talking about it. Kimmy said in her confessional she doesn't want Tisha to think that they're jumping her, and Tisha says it's the way that they were bringing it to her. Kimmy said they need to have a town hall so that y'all can get feedback. Tisha says in her confessional she's tired of being attacked every time she sees the women. She likes Kimmy's idea, but she'll have to talk to Marsau about it. There goes you not having a brain to think for yourself, but you are 85% owner in a business in which your husband only owns 15%, but you can't make any decisions without him. This is why I believe and always felt, and this is way before Melody brought this up on the show, I always felt like she never had control. She was just a puppet to stick in the position. She ain't got no control. That 85% is Marsau's. With his 15, that makes 100. That's just my opinion. And that's always how they have moved. She always has to go back to Marsau, and it's what he says. She can never make an executive decision in a business that she owns 85% of. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. It makes none. Then Stormy said, when it comes down to the money, she said, you agreed with me. He was wrong in my face when the conversation originally took place and we saw each other at lunch. You totally flipped and did a 360, and now you're trying to act like he was right and I was wrong. Then I was wrong for coming at Marsau the way I came at Marsau, but it was how Marsau approached me. You tell Marsau in front of my face that you're wrong for approaching me like that, but then you turn and do a 360. I get what Stormy is saying. And Stormy, you know what it is. It's pillow talk, boo. You do it with Courtney. If you come home and you say such and such and such happened, and you laid in the bed, you say such and such happened, it's no different if She goes home and lays in the bed with Marsau, and they talk about it later on. Yeah, she gonna side with her husband, just like your husband would side with you. So I mean, really, I felt like with that, Mama, because that it is what it is. And this is when uh and then my bad, y'all. Okay, so right after that, she said, I thought we was on the same wave, and then you changed your view on it. Stormy called Marsau a woman. Stormy called Marsau a woman, and basically, how he approached her, and for how he approached her, she didn't. And Tisha said nothing. Now, the women I know, if you would have said that about they man, baby, they would have reached across that table, and then somebody weave would have been, it would have been gone, because it would have been two pieces of biscuit and it all up. I'm just telling y'all, they would have been in there tumbling. If somebody would have, the women that I know, you said that about they man, they would have been in there going. Y'all would have been had a whole issue. Tisha said nothing. And she says her and Tisha wouldn't have had an issue had Martel not approached her. And that's when Mel interjects and says, yes, that's my issue with the situation. Nell told me that Marcel was talking negatively about me at dinner with you guys and the Fletchers. And Mel said, I don't want his issue with me to come between me and Tisha, basically rebuilding their relationship. And Melody says, I will talk to him when I see him. Tisha says she tells Marcel to stay out of things, but he's grown and he can speak for himself. So basically, your husband can jump in other women's face and say things, and he's allowed to do that. And you don't see a problem with that. But then you get mad when these women give your husband that same sassy energy he's giving them. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. Kimmy was messy AF. She become my least favorite. Some people say that. Say Marquise says, yes, I believe her true colors are really showing about how she feels about Tisha. Well, y'all know that I really felt like had Kimmy and Tisha not being sister-in-laws, that they really wouldn't even be friends. That's just my opinion. Mia says absolutely. She can put her degree up. I have a broker's license. I've always believed their business structure was designed to have more opportunities for its contracts. I believe that. The women were right. Marcel is a y'all know I tell him he's sassy. I don't care. He a little. I don't like men that approach women. I don't. Now, if she's married or she has a man, or she's attached to she has a partner, then you speak to her partner about that. I believe in that. Even though my friends that are married, they got wives, and all. Even though we all gay, I would never approach my friend about her wife. If I have an issue with her wife, I would approach my friend because me and my friend have the relationship more so than me and her wife. So that's who I would speak to. I would not speak directly to her wife. I would speak to her because our relationship is me and her is not the same as me and her wife. So I'm not even going to approach her wife about nothing. I'm going to go to my bro and say, hey, I ain't appreciate X, Y, Z. Let her talk to her wife. And, if it is a discrepancy, we need to have a round table, then we can discuss it as adults. But my friend will be present when I speak to her wife because I am not speaking to her wife without her being present. That's just me. It's a respect thing. I was raised right, and everybody ain't raised the same. And nowadays, with all of these things that are being projected on the internet, women jumping in men's face and all of that, I don't do that, and I don't think men should be jumping in women's face, and vice versa. Everybody needs to learn how to respect one another, and you can have a conversation with one another without it going to 100. That's just my opinion. Now, everybody ain't going to agree with me on that, and that's cool. I'm good on it. That's just how I see things. And I'm not going to do anything that would disrespect y'all institution and y'all relationship. That's whether y'all married or friends or dating or whatever. I will never disrespect my friend's partner. That's not what I do. If I have an issue with their partner, I'm going to my friend because that's who I have the relationship with, not them. And that's just me. Like I said, everybody ain't raised the way that I'm raised, so I target to the game and not the people's heart. So Tisha says she tells Marta so to stay out of things, but he's grown. He's gonna speak for himself. Then Stormy says again that he acts like a woman, and Kimmy and Tisha jump in and say no. And Kimmy, you know what? The Lord should have struck you down right when you lied like that, cause you knew you was lying. But you know what? Go ahead, go off, sis. I ain't even gonna. And then Stormy says he acts like a bitch, and they're laughing, and Tisha is sitting there with the stank face. Now, Tisha, again, that's another married woman calling your husband a bitch. You said nothing. That wouldn't have been my homegirls, because I'm gonna tell you right now, they would. Oh. What little Scrappy said, we some head busters. Somebody would have been head busting in there, because they wouldn't have allowed you to disrespect their spouse like that. I'm sorry. Mel says he can come over here with the ladies, and Stormy said we could put a wig on him, and I was just like, so Tisha, you gonna let them say that about your husband? All right, girl. You must feel that same way about your man anytime you letting some other women say that. We on the same wave, because that's what I thought too. Maurice and Kimmy come in the scene. The next scene, we scroll over to Maurice and Kimmy. They come in the scene at construction of their new office and rental spaces that's being built by the brother, Maurice brother Micah. He's doing all the construction, and of course, it's always behind. You know, I've never seen people in the construction business as much as this Scott family is, and ain't never nothing done on time. Nothing is ever done on time. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I wouldn't hire y'all based off of the stuff that I see on TV that ain't nothing never done on time. Ain't no way in HE double hockey sticks I would be paying y'all that kind of money. And nothing is done on time. Because with construction, time is money. And the more time you spend, more money you're bleeding out of my pocket, more money I'm losing, and more money I'm paying. There is no way I would use the Scott for any piece of construction. They couldn't even construct me a paper airplane as much as they take time on constructing stuff. So the brother said he could do it in 11 days. Kimmy said, well, it's already been a month. We a month behind. They go back and forth on that. Kimmy brings up the baby reveal to Maurice, aka Martin Luther King, I have a dream speech, Maurice, because he's going to give you a reverend or a doctorate speech every time he comes into the room. So Kimmy brings up that information and the Expo tea that was brought up and states the money thing is growing legs. Now Maurice looks at her like he's stupid, like he always does, with his mouth open, like he don't know what she's talking about. It's always, and I be looking at him like, y'all got all these degrees, but ain't nobody got no common sense. He's just sitting there with his mouth open, breathing like. And I'm like, ugh. Brittany Janae, she said unfinished projects is a Scott part. It so is, because like I said, over on that Never Neverland mound, which is Scott's Manor, they still pushing the dirt across back and forth, and we ain't seen not an ounce of structure put up. Say Marquis said, why are all the brothers sick? Because they eating all that soul food and not exercising. That's why. So Maurice says, well, him and Marsau were talking at Black, and he was told the $100 charge was for sponsorship. Now, let me follow me back and jog my memory, and please let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. I thought when they originally did this meeting and they wanted the original comeback group to come into this, okay? Didn't when Melody brought up sponsors and all of this, they didn't even think about having sponsors? That was never anything on their mind. They hadn't even thought about having sponsors until Melody said something. And now all of a sudden, they were supposed to be sponsoring the event, and now you're paying for sponsors? Am I wrong? Somebody tell me, am I wrong? Because I thought they were supposed to be getting sponsors, or they were supposed to be the sponsors. So why would people have to pay for the sponsors? I'm confused on that. Can somebody clarify that, or am I wrong? Kimmy said, well, according to Nell at their dinner with them, they said no one paid and everything came from them. And Tisha agreed at the table that Maurice said he's not going to argue with them in a So Tisha agreed at the table. Maurice said he's not going to argue with Tisha and Marsau in a public place. He's going to think about it. Because his thing is, he doesn't want to take secondhand information that may or may not be correct and run with it. Maurice? But you run around with every other bit of secondhand information, Maurice, don't you? Okay, you're right. Okay. So Mia said sponsors came up after Mel asked what they were paying, if they were paying. Okay. Okay. Now, I know I went crazy when he said that, because I was like, your brother said, okay. So Kimmy said he pops off to anyone and doesn't care and names all the women. Like he had an issue with Stormy, he's had issues with Mel. The list goes on and on. He always having an issue with, women. So Kimmy says, Maury said, well, he's a sarcastic a-hole. And he laughed at Kimmy saying that he joked about Mel selling t-shirts. And as the bobblehead he is, he stands there and he laughs. Like, Maurice is pathetic. You never hold your brother accountable. You know your brother is wrong. And vice versa, your brother don't hold you accountable. That's how I feel about that whole Scott family. That whole Scott family is trash. I don't care what y'all say. The men in that family is trash, and it speaks to how the father raised them or did not raise them. Because he did say on the show he never was around because he was always working. And I say air quotes working because I don't know if that man really was working or not. So Nell and Mel sit down in her daycare in one of them rooms them kids ain't in because they outside playing to talk. You exactly right. Maurice never holds his brother accountable. Brittany said, I just want Maurice to fix someone's credit. Is he though? Is he fixing anybody's credit? Maurice laughed because him and Marsau are one and the same. Sure are trash. The whole family. Nell says, so Nell and Mel are sit down and they discuss the event. Mel said she enjoyed the event, and Nell said she did too, but she could see that Nell felt like Tisha was rubbing her the wrong way. That's what Melody says, hey, I could see that Tisha was kind of rubbing you the wrong way. Y'all had some issues. Woo, woo, woo. And Nell just says, I find it hard to believe. I've been in business 30 plus years. My daycare is right around the corner from your business, and you trying to act like you don't know what I do for a living. Marsau is just like, oh, you just his pretty wife. I think Marsau was capping, and he was in there trolling in that scene because he very much so knows what you and Chris do. I think again, he be doing things for camera time and be acting a fool for camera time and all of that. Okay. I thought Maurice was a lawyer. We thought Phaedra Parks was a lawyer too, but you know, I'm gonna leave that at that. Mel brings up Chris. Mel brings up Chris called them the day before the expo. Brings up how Chris called them the day before the expo and he didn't invite them to come out. Like again, who cares about this expo? Really, I want to get paid $100 for this. Because I'm tired of y'all talking about this expo. Like, I need to get paid $100. Somebody get the cash app. Like, push the, I mean, Lord, pass the offering plate. Because they're making me mad that I'm sitting here got to keep talking about this same expo and not getting invited. Who paid, who didn't pay. Like, this is getting on my nerves. I mean, is it really that serious now that you and Chris didn't speak? Okay, get over it. It was a ghetto expo. It was poorly executed and put together. It was probably better that y'all didn't speak at an expo with some people that's allegedly getting sued for $5.6 million for shoddy contracts and no construction done. It ain't worth all that, boo. It's really not, boo. It ain't worth the scratch. Expo. Why we gotta keep talking about the expo? I'm tired of the expo. I'm tired of talking about the expo. Can we let the expo go? And now it's really not that serious, girl. If y'all really want an expo, create y'all expo and have you and Chris speak to it, own it. Because at this point, I'm just like, oh, don't nobody care about this expo, this ghetto expo. Lord. So Mel brings up them patronizing their businesses, buying cases of champagne and going to black, like everything was cool. Then Nell says, well, I don't know what Tisha knows. She may not know much. We have been supporting them. And when she means that Tisha may not know much, it goes back to what they've been said in the episode earlier. Yeah, Tisha may own 85%, but she's more like a placeholder for it. He's actually really running the business. So that's what they're talking about and they're alluding to, that she really don't know what's going on in the business. She just, honey, I'm here. yeah, and Marsau. It just, that's what it be. That's really what it is. So they flash back to a clip of the Fletchers at dinner with Tisha and Marsau, and Tisha asked, what percentage do y'all have on partnerships wise? And the Fletchers say, look, we 50-50 over here. Now I can bang with the Fletchers on that. Because, okay, so in the state of Texas, just a little bit if y'all don't really know. State of Texas, so say I ain't balling now, but say I get to a point where I'm balling and I got money in the bank, shorty, what you drink? And I get married to someone, my wife cannot, legally in the state of Texas, my wife cannot come after any money that I already had before I married her. It's almost like a automatic prenup or ironclad thing by law in the state of Texas, even though we are a community property state. Now, anything business that I create or me and my wife create from the time I get married to her and I go forward with her, she is entitled to 50% of that, unless I was to have a prenup in place. Now, for me, I wouldn't mind investing into my wife. So say I had, I was worth 20 or 30 million and I gave my wife 5 million to invest in her into a business that she wanted to do. I wouldn't want any of my wife's money or her business. She can have it. Just in case something doesn't work out between me and her, the business is hers. I don't want that. All I ask you is don't come after my coin because I invested in you for your business. I'm not touching your coin. And I don't really have a problem with giving you a lump sum settlement to go on about your business because I'm not a selfish person. That's just me. That's just me. But I do believe in things being 50-50. We are married. What's mine is yours. You ain't really got to give me what you got because I don't want it. That's just the way that I'm set up. Now, anybody listening to what I just said, don't think of no ideas and shit because I see you. Okay? So Tisha kind of looked at them like, oh, y'all 50-50. So then Tisha says she's 85% to his 15%, but she's being kicked out. And that's when Nell was like, how you get kicked out of a business that your husband only owns 15% of and you own the 85%? That makes no sense. So which Nell, Mel breaks down how women-owned businesses work with the government. The government will give you more opportunities to build government contracts or bid on government contracts because a woman is at the helm of the business. So what you do is the husbands decide, let's have a genius idea of getting over on the government. Since if it's more of a woman that's owning the business and the woman is the face in the forefront and she owns more of the percentage of the business, that means we can bid on more government contracts and we can kind of get over on the government by getting additional grants and other stuff, which is low down, but y'all got to realize people do it. And that's because it basically gives you a leg up because the government will give you more opportunities to business women on, women-owned businesses. So when husbands found out that this was how the government would be willing to give them more contract opportunities, they would just give the wife more percentage in the companies to get more government contracts and to get over on them. But technically, Mel says he can't be a partner really only having 15% control. What is he going to do? Take his 7.5% plus his other 7.5% and add that up? It still would not equal him to being a partner, which is absolutely correct. So I'm going to reiterate that again. Mel breaks down how women-owned businesses get additional funding from the government with the construction contract. You have a leg up because the government will give more opportunities to women-owned businesses. So when husbands found out that was the game, in order to finesse the government, they would be willing to give more. They would give the wife more of a percentage in the company to get more government contracts, to have the ability to bid on these contracts. Okay? But in the technicality, if you really think about his 15%, it wouldn't make him a 50-50 partner because he's not a partner. He would not be considered a partner because he does not own 50% ownership. He owns a portion of the ownership, but he doesn't own enough that would consider making him a partner. Even if he added it all together, that 15% would not trump Tisha. She further explains she feels she's the face of the company or what, but she's not actually running the company. Mel says when she was with Martel, she ran the company. Nothing came across without her knowing it, meaning all paperwork, all contracts, Melody knew everything. There was nothing that Martel didn't go out here and bid on, or she didn't bid on personally that they didn't know about. They knew that about each other. They knew what each other was doing. That's how their business worked. So she thinks it's smoke and mirrors with them. Mel doesn't believe they made any money off of that Expo. They probably lost more than they gained. As I said to y'all earlier, I believe that they lost more than they gained. I don't believe that they made anything, and that was due to poor planning. And that's why they're doing all this smoke and mirrors thing. Nell thinks they made something, and this is where I don't agree with Nell. She thinks they made something, and Mel is like, if they made anything, it probably was only like $500. And the way Marsau was running around there begging for that 100 from Stormy, I believe it. I ain't gonna hold you. I believe it. Mel also brings up this social media fund that they had to raise $150K to build a house for a less fortunate family. And she says they only had about $200 or $300 in donations, and it's been up there 3 weeks. And they posted this on social media. Melody couldn't go back to look it up because they had blocked each other. And Nell says, well, how the hell can you move forward with Tisha if y'all got each other blocked? Melody was like, well, I got so many people blocked, I ain't going through the list to unblock her. Melody, you could type the lady name in and unblock her. You just don't want to unblock her because you just don't really want to build any bridge with Tisha. And I would just rather you just go ahead and stand on it and say that's what it is. I will respect it a lot more. Okay, you're playing nice with this girl for the cameras, and that's exactly what it is. And that's cool. Y'all co-workers. It's cool. A lot of people just co-workers. And at this point, you just co-workers with these people. You don't have any form of relationship. You're not trying to build no relationship with Tisha, and you don't want to build no relationship with Tisha. And that's cool. But don't lie about it. Because you damn well can put that lady's name in there and unblock her. You don't want to unblock her because you don't want to deal with her. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you, but it's just, but you just need to stop being passive aggressive and just go on and admit that you just don't like the lady. Thank you, Harold. Thank you. Just go ahead and admit it. So Mel says, do you want to be friends? Kind of flips it and says, because Nell said, you ain't really trying to be friends. And I'm just like, thank you, Nell. You clocked the T. Mel says, do you want to be friends with Tisha? And Nell says, I'm good. She's not receptive to it, but I can keep it cordial and leave it at that. And again, that's what we've been telling you and screaming at you to the screen all episode, Nell. Stop trying to harp on them being at that event. Stop harping on trying to be at the event, giving a damn about speaking at that event. At this point, just let it go. Just let it go. Like Elsa, let it go. So they get into Marsau and his issues with women. She says he basically throws wrenches in between. Melody says basically Marsau throws wrenches between her and Tisha's relationship and always wants to keep them at odds. Now, I halfway believe this and then I halfway don't, because Tisha got her own brain and she don't have to listen to Marsau. That's a choice for her to listen to Marsau, because if she really wanted to have a friendship with you, she would have that friendship with you. And I just think Melody just don't want that friendship with you. Melody, you don't want that friendship with Tisha, and Tisha don't want that friendship with you. I think at this point, it's two stubborn women, and you can take Marsau out of the equation. Both of y'all are stubborn, and you're over it. And just say that. But do I think it's all him? No, I don't. Tisha just don't want to be friends with you. You don't want to really be friends with Tisha, and just call a spade and stop playing. Like, I'm sick of that. So Melody agrees that Melody agrees with that, and they flash back to Melody taking Tisha to networking events with her and them arguing about it. Now, we all know Marsau has never wanted Tisha to have her own independence, because if Tisha is to get her own independence, Tisha would not need Marsau. Marsau wants Tisha to need him, and that is the reason why he don't want Tisha to know only but so much, and he only wants her to do so much, and he only wants her to grow so much. Because the fear of Tisha actually outgrowing him means that Tisha can actually pack her things up and leave and take those kids and run him for child support and anything else that she wants. And that is the thing that he does not want. So I do agree with that to a degree. Yeah, he don't want her progressing, but I don't think it's more or less has anything to do with you being a strong woman, Melody. He just don't want that woman to progress, period, because he don't want that lady to move on with her life and possibly leave him in the dust. And that's really what it is. And I don't think it's got anything with you hanging around her. It's just he just don't want that lady to progress. And that's sad. That's your wife, and you don't want to see your wife do well, and you don't want your wife to grow. You will do anything to sabotage that. That's nasty work, Marsau. You and your childbearing hips got some nasty work with you. She says he just, she's gonna go straight to Marsau with it. She ain't gonna talk to nobody else. She's gonna go to Marsau, which is the source. You took the words right out of my mouth. Y'all don't fool with each other like that, and that's okay. It sure is. So we get over here to Kiki and Amin, her and her husband, and I'm gonna just breeze through this because this is real cut and dry. Kiki is speaking to her husband. He's cooking dinner. She says she missed the event due to being sick. She wants doctors to find out what's wrong with her, and she doesn't want to keep getting sick. I'm just gonna say this. And how do I say this politically correct? Because I don't want to offend nobody. I'm gonna say this. Kiki was on prescription drugs and she was abusing them. With abusing prescription drugs, you will have after effects. A lot of heavy narcotics will eat the lining of your stomach. It will cause you to have gastrointestinal issues. It will cause you to have other issues that you didn't have before. I could see her having the cardiology issues because, mixing too many, starting up the heart, racing your heart up. And then if you're taking downers, you're racing it down. That stuff can mess with you. I'm not going to take that away from Kiki, but I also understand this too as well with Kiki. I understand that Kiki is also, I have to understand too, with having an addiction to narcotics, you are going to say and do anything to say that you don't feel well so that you can feel like you're going to get someone to write you a script. And that is the scary part about it because you don't know what it really is because you're scared of the person relapsing, and then you're scared of, well, they now really are sick and now they do all have all these health issues. Now they can't prescribe you any and everything because now they know that you have an issue with abusing prescription drugs. So now they have to find other ways to try to treat you so that you don't abuse, because they can't just give you a drug. They can't just give you anything anymore. And I think that's where the tussle is coming between Kiki and her husband. He's been dealing with this for years and it's tiring, and that can wear on him because all you want is that person to get themselves together and they're not able to do that. It's just not working. I'm going to say this, and I really honestly feel like instead of Kiki being in front of a camera filming for this TV show, she needs to be in somebody's rehab. I'm sorry. It's my opinion. You need to be in somebody's inpatient rehab for at least 6 months or more, really getting yourself together. Kiki's husband is really tired of her eating all that bad food. I think some of it is bad food, but then I also do think y'all have to understand too, when you are abusing prescription drugs and you're abusing them, and if you're not eating a lot, that is going to eat up the lining of your stomach. And then it's going to make harder once you come off the drugs trying to eat foods now, because there's going to be certain things that you're not going to be able to eat anymore. And it is going to make it hard. Kiki should not be on the show. She needs true healing. She do. Kiki's husband looks tired because he's been dealing with this for years, and he has. She brings up, people might say this is a relapse. Baby, they're going to always say this is a relapse because it's been exposed and talked about on this show. Her husband, Amin, says, nah, you did not. I know how you are, and I know what the signs are, and I know what it looks like, your body language. She says that she needs to go see the cardiologist and the gastroenterologist to do further testing. Her husband basically says he feels the methadone is causing the medical issues, and she says no, it isn't. That's a catch-22 with methadone. Sometimes when you have a prescription drug addiction, they will give you methadone to try to wean you off of the prescription drug. And really, in my eyes, it's like trading one drug for another drug. That's just, I work in the medical profession. That's how I see it. I don't feel, but they also have to do that because they can't just wean you off the drug cold turkey, because then your body starts to go into shock, and it's a lot. So I don't know. Chef Dom said, you mean outpatient? I don't think her addiction is that bad. They require that much treatment, maybe outside 30 to 45 days, and required to seek therapy after. She might need that. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I've had family members that have been addicts of things, but I've never had to deal with that directly in my personal life or being with someone directly in my personal life. So I don't know. Outpatient may work for her. Sometimes outpatient isn't enough, but I do. She probably needs some sort. I'm not gonna say that she doesn't need, whether that's inpatient or outpatient. Her doctor and her people would know what she needs to her degree of her addiction. I don't know that lady's degree of her addiction and how deep it goes. Um, I just know sometimes trading the methadone, sometimes it just makes you addicted to that instead of really getting you fully off of it. But I know that it does take time for them to taper you off and wean you down. I'm not trying to be a doctor, and I'm not trying to say that I know all those things because I really don't. I'm just going off of what's been playing off on the show. And I tell you all the time, I don't dig deep into these people's past, and I don't really do all of that research like that about what's happening in the social media streets in regards to it. I'll just be honest, I don't. Um, he just wants her to quit, and again, you can't just quit methadone like that. You can't. You have to be weaned off. She says no, it isn't. He wants her to quit. He doesn't want her to be dependent on something, and that's hard. Okay, I'm a doctor, and yes, you were correct about the methadone. Okay, I knew I was because I'm like I've done medical billing and coding, and I've been in clinics and I've seen that, and I'll just say like you can't. It's like trading one thing for another thing, but you're trying to keep them from going back to the one thing, but you have to wean it off. You can't just cut it off. That's not how that works. Because that will really cause even more repercussions and damage than she's already done to her body with the prescription drugs. Um, he also brings up that she eats bad, and that she needs and eating bad food late night. He said it also plays a part in your health. And again, when you have to be, again, prescription drugs or any drugs, and you don't even have to be nobody abusing it. I can tell you, my grandmother took a lot of prescription drugs over the years because doctors will give you one prescription for this, one prescription for that. As they start to counteract each other, and then as they found out, like, oh well, you took this medication for so many years, it ate the lining of your stomach out. So now that we have had you on this medication for so long, it's not good for you because now it's messed up how your intestines and how your stomach processes your food. So medicines can naturally do that if you're on them too long. And this is without abusing this prescription. So I also do think that Kiki does with the exercise, changing lifestyle changes. Some of those things do help and will help. If she eats better, that will help. But Kiki has to want to do all those things on her own. And it's one thing to talk about it as a spouse, but how about you do the work with her? If you want to change the way that you eat, sir, change the way you cooking because you was in there making chicken, macaroni and cheese. The stuff that you was cooking, sir, was not that healthy yourself. I'm just being honest. If we're going to be honest about it, let's talk about it. What you was cooking was not healthy either, sir. It did not have that much of good health. I'm just saying. And he says, well, you can be wrong. She tells him, you can be wrong. And he says, well, I'm just saying what it might cause it. I could be wrong. And she says, well, how am I supposed to fix it? And he said, by doing it your way. And he said, I could be wrong. And he says, yes. He said, I could be wrong. She says, well, he doesn't support her like he should. He states with the Crime Stoppers issue and everything else, it's a lot for someone to have on them. And I do. I sympathize with both sides of the coin here. Kiki has got a lot on herself because of the Crime Stoppers stuff too going on, and she has that pressure on her. Then he, as a spouse, he got to hear people walking around that town talking about how they seen his wife on Crime Stoppers and her addiction and all that. This addiction could make or break this marriage, especially if he's been dealing with this for a long time. I don't know how long the man been dealing, with it, but it's just like, be there and be supportive, but don't tear her down at the same time. You can do that, sir. She says he jumps to conclusions a lot and is already has enough people doing that, and he apologizes. He does apologize for that, but then at the same time, I'm like, he jumping to conclusions because folks is bringing it to him, and he really don't know how to answer for you and defend for you and himself at the same time, which I think is a lot. He says he's not doing it on purpose, but it's a lot he's hearing about from people and on him about it. But I am gonna say, sir, you need to, if you're gonna talk about your wife eating right, you need to be cooking better than what you cooking. Cause that macaroni and cheese and all of that and beans and and I don't care. You can, and black folks, I love us, but when they gave us air fryers, y'all be wearing them air fryers out for everything. And just because it goes in the air fryer don't mean it's healthy all the time. It depends on what you're cooking, how you're seasoning it, what you're seasoning, and how you're making and preparing the meal. So just because you threw that chicken in that air fryer didn't make it healthy, sir. And I'm just gonna say that. Hey, Sweet Pea 724. Don said facts. Right. I'm just like, you, sir, you in there cooking all that, and you ain't slim and trim yourself. So, and this is where I always say with partners, if you want your partner to lose weight, you have to do the work with your partner. Work out with her. I mean, even if y'all don't hit no gym, if y'all just go walk the neighborhood every day, baby, let's get up and go walk. That will help her mental health. That will give her something busy that she's not searching her name on the internet or searching, this or searching that. She is doing something constructive and it's healthy. I'm just going to say, as a husband, that's where you got to bridge the gap, sir. You can't blame that lady for everything. Harold said, air fried the chicken. Is that healthy enough? You air fry something. Okay? Black people, I love us. But when they gave us air fryers, we feel like everybody, just because you air fry is healthy. It's not. I'm gonna leave that alone because I'm about to get activated and hot because I ain't gonna do that. Say Marquise says her husband carries the stress and it's unfortunate. Sounds like he needs to support her better. He does, but I think they both need therapy and I think they both need counseling. Because he's taking on her stress and vice versa, and they both stressed out, and it's not helping. They both need to go to therapy, individually and together. Black people, I love us, but we gotta chill with the air fryer, for real. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. So I'm gonna wrap it up. This is the last part, which is Melody and Marsau meeting to talk about things, as he said. About the things he said with the Fletchers. Melody lets him know they'll come out to get his order because, he was all antsy to get his all black coffee. And I'm like, you look like you drink black coffee. Ugh. He come in with a tight shirt, which he should have had a full-on girdle on, with his childbearing hips. He sits down, and they come to talk. So he lets him know that they'll come out to get his order, and she asked him how he doing. And see, they both was passive aggressive with each other. Chef Don, I saw him with that salt, and I said high blood pressure. That's all I say. What about me? High blood pressure. See, woo, and they'll act like I didn't see them loafers leaning to the side a little bit, sir. Let me get off that man like that. Melody, She asked him how busy and everything. And he said it's good. Things are working good. So they both being petty at this point. Cause he asked her, "Well, how you doing?" She talking, "I'm good. I'm good." And he talking about, "Yeah, everything's going good right now." And I'm like, I'm looking at them and I'm like, can y'all quit the pleasantries and the BS and get to the point? Okay. He claims he liked her energy and she's made a conscious decision not to come in with nothing negative. What would the lady Carol that did the tea episode, the tea party would do? And I'm like, Melody, I don't save the metaphors and the BS. Get to the point. She didn't eat him up, but it was like there was a petty part before she ate him up. That was killing me. Cause see, I would have just ate you up, and I didn't have time to be petty with you. I just ate you up. She just kept trying to be. Them loafers was leaning, chef. Them loafers, I wasn't trying to do that. I mean, ain't got that belly for nothing. He a big boy like me. We love to eat. Shit, I love to eat. The fat girl in me love to eat too. But I know when to back up from the table too. You have to know. You have to know when enough is enough. So he says they can speak as intelligent adults and it should go fine. And she brings up the information that she found out from Nell at Tiffany's birthday, not birthday, baby reveal, and about his jabs to her business wise. And he lets her know that he never called her out by name and it was a larger conversation being had. Marsau, we're not Tisha. Marsau, we're not Tisha. Okay, Melody's not Tisha. The audience, we're not Tisha. Stop playing with us. You knew you were throwing it at Mel because Mel was the one that asked about the speakers being paid and the sponsorship and was dissecting you up and eating you up in your meeting, sir. Ain't nobody Tisha, okay? Now your wife may sit over there and play dumb with you, but ain't nobody else gonna play dumb with you, Marcel. Stop. Somebody tell Marcel to stop playing with in people's face, man. Um, he said the money, because I'm like, the larger conversation. What was the conversation? We are not Tisha. Stop it. I really want you to stop. We're not Tisha, okay? You can tell Tisha is purple outside and her slow self gonna agree with it. That's her. And to a degree, I feel again, she plays dumb. But we not dumb, sir. And you gotta stop doing it. So he said the money factor came about when paying them to speak. He says no, he's not paying anyone to talk about their t-shirt business is what they're going is what we're going to talk about. And she said, I do have t-shirts, and she shows the Melometer shirt, free press and promotion. She has on, and she basically says, you try to downgrade my business knowledge, and I'm not stupid nor dumb. And I do have a lot of business knowledge, and it goes past me selling t-shirts. And why is it necessary to throw jabs? His arrogant, ego-driven self says he shared his opinion, and unfortunately, it affected her. It reminded me when Yandy tried to speak to Erica, and she told Erica told Yandy she chose to be offended by the blue monkey comment. You can't tell somebody how they choose to be affected by something when you're the one throwing shots. You, sir. And ain't Black selling t-shirts too? So she asked him, what's your opinion? She asked him, so your opinion is I have a t-shirt business? And he says, no, I just don't value that business. He says, I don't have a high value or opinion on businesses like that. So, sir, if you don't have a high value on businesses like that, or you don't care to value businesses like that, then why are you trying to get in the e-commerce business? If you don't value it, why speak on it? You must be jealous because you're not making that money that you feel like you should be making in that business because you see somebody else excelling at it and you're not making money at it. So what you gonna do? Be a hater and throw jabs at it because you can't make money in it the way that person has made money in it. And that's really how I thought. It was really haterish, and as a grown man to hate on a woman, like, it's really sassy to me. I don't understand these men on these shows. I really don't. Why is it that y'all always have to come for black women and it always has to be an issue with black women? When I'm going to highlight this and I'm going to say this, just to let y'all know, black women run a lot of the reality TV space, sir. So if it wasn't for you being married to a black woman, you wouldn't be able to be in this space because black women are the ones that is running the reality TV space, sir. Nobody's clamoring to see black men on reality TV. I ain't trying to hold you, but not too many are. Not black men heterosexual. No. So to discount it and try to say that this woman doesn't have a lucrative business because it's e-commerce and it's t-shirts, that's BS. That's really BS. But yet you still trying to get in the e-commerce business, but you don't respect it. Make it make sense. You sound like an idiot. You really do. The words don't match the actions and you sound dumb. And he keeps repeating that he doesn't have a high opinion on those type of businesses. And she's laughing at him. And if you don't have a high opinion on it, then why are you trying to? So she says, well, if you don't have a high opinion on it, then why are you trying to make money in it? Good question. But you still trying to make money in e-commerce, but you don't have a high value in it. Marsau, please. Marsau, please. You want to make money in e-commerce because it's quick and fast money, but then you want to shade people that are in it. Childish. She says he's playing with her, and he says, let's have a conversation. Mel says he's lying and discrediting and downplaying what she does. Absolutely. Because doesn't Mel have property preservation? She has her production company. She also has 7th Avenue, which is her skin line. She also has the e-commerce business with the t-shirt. What else does Mel do? Mel got so many businesses. I actually don't keep up with everything that Mel does, but I know Mel has multiple businesses and she holds multiple hats. So for Marsau to be doing this, he's trying to do what he does with Tisha, which is gaslight her, but it's not going to work on Melody because Melody knows this is a mental mind game with you, and this is all this is. And this is a mental struggle. She said she only had, so he says, don't cry, Mel. And that was him being passive aggressive. And she said, ain't nobody crying. She said, only one that will be crying is you when Tisha leaves you. He says, why would you want her to do that? And this is, again, where I keep trying to, I will say this to you, Melody, and no disrespect, mama. Stop wishing a divorce on that man. Because Tisha's not going to leave until Tisha's ready. And so you hollering at him because you are having the argument with him. I'm tired of you doing that. If that lady is going to leave, she's going to leave on her time. I'm just tired of you bringing that up. If she ain't left this, I ain't got no faith that she's going to leave anytime soon. She has ownership in a production company and a network. Yeah, that's another thing that she has. Okay. Like I said, Melody got so many things going on. I don't know. But Melody, I want you to stop hurling that at him and hurling that at her. Who cares? If they like it, we love it. God bless them. He said, you want the kids to be raised in a single family home. Melody reiterates that he can't handle Tisha being around a strong woman like her. That would give her the strength to leave his manipulating line behind. And that's how the episode ended. I'm going to say this. Tisha is not going to leave until Tisha is ready to leave. And all parties involved need to quit trying to hurl that as an insult, or need to quit trying to make it seem like Tisha's going to get up today or tomorrow. Tisha has to not want to stop wanting to be brainwashed by her mother and Marsau, because both of them got a hold on her mentally, and until she break that chain between both of them, she's going to stay. So everybody can stop with that, because I don't even care at this point if Tisha stays or goes. If she like it, I love it. I'm not going to argue with the situation. And that's that on that. That was the episode for this week. I'm interested to see how this conversation continues next week. Hopefully it's not so much fillerish. This season so far is cool. You know, I don't have a problem. But I also feel like at the same time, people need to get some storylines, because if I have to hear about this Expo one more time, because I know they're going to talk about it again next week with this roundtable feedback mess in the next episode, I'm tired. I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired of hearing about this Expo. I'm tired of hearing about this money. I'm tired. I really want everybody to move the hell on. It's annoying. But that's all I got. Ain't got no more for y'all today. Again, I do have an article this week coming up. Well, I'm interviewing with a journalist with an article that I'll be doing where they'll be asking me some questions. When that article drops, I'll make sure I post that on my social media and even on my community wall on YouTube. Also, shout out and congratulations to Chef Don Don on his productions. And thank you for doing my first dating reality TV show that if y'all have not signed up for, y'all make sure y'all sign up for. The deadline is October 5th. If you're watching this playback, please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, hit your notification button so you can get all the notifications for whenever I'm going live as well. Also, if you would like to donate to the production and crowdfunding, you can always find those links on, I think Chef has dropped those into the chat for y'all as well. Nothing else that I'm missing. Oh, and if you have, and I forgot to say it earlier today in the video, if you like to promote your Black-owned business, email, and you would like that business to be promoted during the show. The show will be airing in January, okay? And that's when it will start airing in January. You can promote your business during the show, the little commercials. You can email them by emailing them at schooloflove@gmail.com. And then Chef will filter through those, get you back the information, let you know what you need to provide to him, and everything else. If that's it, y'all have a blessed, happy Sunday. I'm finna go make me a drink, okay? Get my tequila and my lime and my tonic water and go mind my business. Well, maybe I'll have a glass of wine first. But anyway, y'all have a good Sunday. Happy Sunday. Have an amazing rest of y'all's week. Positive vibes and love out to everyone.
In the big city of Dallas, Texas, a new LGBT web reality series produced by The Chef Don Don Productions, School of Love. Honey, we are now casting. Make sure you get your application in just in time for school to be in session.